When the topic of gunfighting is brought up, many of us tend to over-romanticize our own shooting abilities. I say this because even this far into my shooting journey, I am constantly revisiting the fundamentals to make sure I have a concrete base to stand on. But what are some of the most common fundamentals that seem to fade due to neglect? I'd say the most common are fine motor skills or weapon manipulations, recoil management with our pistol or rifle, and finally, height over bore. And height over bore is something I don't see many people talking about these days. This is concerning because we live in an age where optic heights seem to be increasing, and this has a direct effect to your height over bore. So in this video, we're going to discuss the topic of height over bore, because as the popularity of firearms increase, so should the knowledge. Before we get too far in this video, I'd like to say thank you to our channel sponsor, Obsidian Tactics. Obsidian Tactics is an online retailer that offers a curated selection of high quality and high value products that have been vetted throughout the 2A community. I've had the opportunity to talk to the CEO of Obsidian Tactics a few times now, and it's very rare that you can find people that are pro 2A and have a good moral compass. So go visit Obsidian Tactics for all your 2A needs and wants. I also wanted to say thank you all for supporting the channel. If you've been enjoying all of the content I've been creating and want to take it a step further, I just launched a Patreon where I'll be posting behind the scenes content, project updates, and some early looks at upcoming videos. This is a way for me to connect more directly with the people who really believe in what I'm building here. So if you want to be a part of the behind the scenes crew and help keep this channel growing, I'd be grateful to have you there. The link's down below, and either way, thank you for being here. It means way more than you know. All right, back to the video. So what is height over bore? Height over bore refers to the vertical distance between the center line of your optic and the center line of your rifle's barrel, or bore. This measurement directly impacts how your point of aim aligns with your point of impact at different distances, and it plays a critical role when zeroing your rifle. Though your sight line is straight, your bullet path starts below it and arcs upward to intersect at your zero of choice. Let's say you have an AR-15 with a red dot zeroed at 50 yards and a height over bore of 2.6 inches. At 5 yards, your bullet will still be traveling upward toward the sight line and will hit approximately 2.6 inches below, give or take, unless you account for it with the holdover. But we'll talk about holdovers later in the video. All right, so I have a target here and I want to demonstrate mechanical offset. If I put the muzzle, I'll angle this so you guys can see this better. If I put the muzzle right on that red spot on the target, you will see that my optic is actually probably like 2.5 inches higher than where the muzzle is. And that's what mechanical offset is. I have a 100 yard zero, and this means that at 100 yards, my reticle and my optic and the bullet path will intersect. This also means that anywhere closer than 100 yards, my shots will impact slightly lower than where I'm aiming with my reticle. And how far that offset is will be determined by how close I am to my target. So what I'm gonna do to demonstrate this is by going back and shooting at different distances and recording the mechanical offset so you guys can see the difference. So what I'm gonna do is aim for the red right here every single time. And after each shot, we'll come up and look and where the impact was. And I'm just gonna do one shot. All right, so I aimed right here. As you can see, there's quite a bit of a difference at 3 yards. Now, obviously, it's not something that's gonna deter you from hitting your target, an open target at close range. But if you're taking a precision shot, you definitely wanna keep this in mind. So that was 3 yards. And what I'm gonna do to make this a little easier on us is label this 3 so that we're not getting confused with our different rounds downrange. All right, 10 yards. Okay, 10 yards. It's slightly higher. I mean, there's not much deviation because, again, this is a 100 yard zero, so it would probably be better if I did this at 10, 20, 40, maybe like 60 yards, something like that, but I'm limited to the range that I have. But as you can see, even at 10 yards, there is a deviation in elevation. So that's pretty cool. We're gonna label this 10. And now we're gonna go back to the 20 yard line. Now at the 20 yard line, there should be a significant difference. Not saying I'm gonna be on target right here, but I'm assuming it's gonna be somewhere around here. When I'm doing my matches, once I'm around that 15 to 25 yard line, I tend to just aim slightly higher, but usually I'll aim center mass depending on the target. All right, 20 yards. This is 20 yards flat. So as you can see, the difference between 20 and 10 yards is pretty significant. Like I said, I'm always aiming here, and the deviation is a lot closer. So at my matches, if I'm shooting at 25 yards or further, I always aim center mass because I'm not worried about offset. Now, if I'm around like 10 yards, that's when I'll start aiming, up here to try to get closer to target. Also note, I'm shooting offhand, so if you're seeing deviation left and right, it's just, the further I get back, the harder it's gonna be. Now, why is height over bore so important to learn and understand? Although in theory, this is easy to conceptualize, the concept seems to become more difficult when you're having to shoot under duress or a stressful situation. If you watch footage of soldiers in the field, when things pop off, you may see them shooting at a nearby wall or a barricade they may be taking cover behind. These are some extremely stressful situations, and your training is the only thing that would differentiate you from the opposing side. And just like practicing reloads and addressing malfunctions, learning your height over bore will save you precious seconds when it matters most. So now that we understand what is happening in regards to height over bore and how it correlates to your zero, how do we correct this so that if we want to take a precise shot, we can ensure a good impact? This is where we introduce holdovers. At distances inside of your zero, you must compensate by holding higher than your perceived point of aim to hit the target more accurately. This is especially important when you want to implement this into CQB, home defense, or even competition settings. Going back to my specific setup, I have a 100-yard zero, so my holdovers are going to be a bit more drastic than someone with a 25-yard zero. I prefer this simply because I also like to shoot out to distance, and utilizing a mil reticle simplifies that process. But holdovers is something that needs to be trained. You won't magically learn this in dry fire. For me personally, it took me going to the range once a week for about a month to get a decent grasp on where my holds are from 5 to 30 yards. Understanding the connection between optic height and height over bore and mechanical offset is essential for becoming a skilled rifleman. Whether you're setting up a rifle for defense, duty, or competition, your mount height isn't just for comfort or just a personal preference. It's a performance factor. Train with your mechanical offset in mind, and you'll be faster, more accurate, and far more effective when the time comes to take a critical shot. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.